and like she's not doing it herself. Like she's literally acting these things out and she's adding people, doing all the things. So I'm going to let her take it over and she can just literally say whatever and just pour into us. But I'm going to be over here taking my notes and soaking it all in too.
Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. I'm going to give you some backstory for those that may not know me or follow me or any of those social terms. I am 30 years old. I used to be one of the youngest Jules and was actually one of the youngest Diamonds for a long time. And I'm sure Lauren's just going to swoop right on in there and change that. But I got started back in 2014. I was a brand new mom. My husband was deployed to Afghanistan, and I had done Mary Kay in the past for many years. But for me, parties and what I like to call network marketing baggage that was going from military base to military base with me, all that product I carried around, it ended up being sold for $20 in a garage sale just so I could get rid of it. So in my brain, all network marketing companies were like that. So I made fun of Plexus. I made fun of Herbalife and any competitor you can think of. That was not my thing. It was beneath me. God forbid I be in an MLM. And if you go back to my Facebook, I did not delete them. All of those posts are there. And so I eat my words every day. And it's funny having conversations with skeptics now because I'm like, oh, honey, and I just send them screenshots and I'm like, this was me in 2013. I know I was you. And so I like to have really bold conversations, as Lauren mentioned, because I've been there, done that. And I've been in the company where you had to have parties and it was sales driven and like super exhausting. And don't get me wrong, this can be exhausting too, but this smile is like permanent. Like it is so exhaustingly fun. I've never ever seen a company like Plexus. And so when I first started, I enrolled for weight loss. Like most of us, I was like, make me skinny and don't talk to me ever again. Like I'm just gonna buy your stuff, go away. And I saved up money. I sold things out of my closet, off my walls, and I dog sat. Y'all, this is how bad and desperate my health was. I needed this stuff. And I watched my upline, who's out in California, her husband was deployed with mine. I watched her go from someone that checked into urgent care on Facebook weekly for tummy troubles to working out and working on her fitness goals and just looking like Barbie overnight. I'm like, what are you doing? And I said, I need some of that secret sauce. Like, what are you doing? And she tells me, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, what did you get sucked into? I ain't about that life. I will drink my 64 ounces of Diet Coke every day. I will pop my Zoloft and I'll go about my way. And that's how I lived my life. And I was miserable. 24 years old, taking 3 naps a day, struggled hardcore with postpartum depression. If it weren't for my mother-in-law or my mom being present, I don't know what would have happened with my baby. That's how bad it was. That baby did not exist. And I'm the oldest of 4 children. I've been around children my whole entire life. And so for me, of all people, to go through that was kind of astonishing. So my husband was getting worried. He called me and Skypes me during this deployment. And he's like, you're freaking me out. Like, do I need to come home? He missed the birth of our child, just to give you a little more backstory, get a little intimate, which was devastating. And so I was just like going down this rabbit hole. But here I see my friend who is just changing day by day, very like posting her stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? And so when she told me it was network marketing, I was not thrilled at all. And so for the next, like, I think it was about 15 days, because it was the end of June and I joined July 4th. There was a special. How many of you have joined it because of a special? That was me. I was looking for some money off, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. I got on her website, which I had gone to that link like 1,000 times. I'm sure IT was like, look how many times this girl's been on this link, because she does not know what she wants. And I remember just like having that laptop in my lap and my baby next to me, and he was starting to get fussy. And I was not a nursing mom. Like, no matter how hard I tried, I just was not healthy enough to do that. And I just was like, screw it, sign up. So the next day, this girl calls me and she is mortified. She is like, I'm so sorry. There must be an error. I'll get your money back. It looks like you enrolled and I don't really know what's going on. And I'm like, whoa. Look, don't tell anybody. I'm just going to take this triplex thing, and then if I get skinny, I'll help you out and I'll send people to you. But if it makes me fatter, I'm out. And she was like, I'm so scared of you right now. And so it was just kind of this weird relationship for a couple weeks because we were like acquaintances, like we only knew each other because of the military. And so sure enough, around day 45 of using the triplex consistently, which this is really funny. Are you ready for this? I was sent Slim, BioCleanse, and Accelerator Plus. And I thought I was triplexing, y'all. I was like, look at me. I didn't even have ProBio 5. Then they mail it to me with this handwritten apology note, because back then we got paper checks and handwritten letters because they were so tiny. And I was like, oh, this is that like special probiotic that everyone talks about. And so I then started taking that, and that was just the game changer product for me. Around day 45, I had lost my postpartum baby weight that I was trying to lose, but this is the best part. My doctor knew I didn't want to take Zoloft. I've been in and out of her office trying to be weaned off of it. So we were working on that. And I'll never forget my pharmacist calling me from Walgreens and saying, hey, Mrs. Roberts, you haven't been in to pick up your prescription. It's been 30 days. Like, are you all right? Because we know how you are when you ain't on your bed, sister. And I was like, actually, yeah, I'm actually really good. I'll call my doctor and talk to her and like whatever. And he was like, okay. So he calls my doctor freaking tattletale, and he's like, hey, your customer is not picking up their meds. Like, it had been like almost 60 days. So she calls me in and she's like, I need you to come to my office. So here, you know, moms, if you're a new mom and you have a baby and you know how like gut wrenching it is to take a newborn in public, like you're anxiety ridden and you're just like, I don't want to go anywhere. And like, you got all the things happening. So that was how I used to feel about leaving and driving an hour to this doctor. And this appointment, I felt good. I had shorts on. Well, we live in Texas, so you have to wear shorts all the time. But I had shorts on. I was carrying my baby in, and she was just like, y'all should have seen my OB's face. And the way she looked at me when I walked in that door, she was like, if something that you're doing is illegal, just tell me, because you're not the same person that came in here a month and a half ago. And I was like, it's my Plexus, and I had all of it in my purse. And I'm like slapping the bag and the bottles on the counter, and I'm like, this is what I've been doing. And she's like, never heard of it. And so my OB had a no-no wall in her office of things that she did not recommend. And there were some competitor companies that were up on that list that I was like proud that Plexus was on her yes list. And to this day, she's like, I'm so proud of you for finding a natural alternative to help you feel like the best you. And that's just a little bit of my health story. Obviously, I promised my friend if it worked for me, I would start sharing. So I posted on Facebook, wow, haven't had a Diet Coke since July 4th or whenever. This stuff really works. Okay. That was my first post. It went down in flames in 0.07 seconds. 80 comments of pure hatred. Pure hatred. My uplines and I, our thumbs and fingers are so sore trying to just like defend my integrity and Plexus, and nobody wanted to believe that what I had found worked well. So I'm here to tell you that consistency is freaking key. Not just taking the products, but talking about it and keeping the story that you have alive every single day, describing yourself and your version of your story just in a different way every single day. If you go to my Facebook, there's a lot of toddler stuff, poop stuff, Plexus stuff, and my hot husband. Like, it's like just cyclic. Like, I'll just keep posting. Scotty said, who me? He just heard his name. It's the same thing over and over. But y'all still follow, right? Because I keep it engaging and entertaining, so to speak. And so I learned that in the beginning. So if you're new here, congratulations. This is what I learned in the beginning was I have to keep telling the same story in a fun way every time. So this was before Facebook Live was like a thing. We used to have to record ourselves, make sure it was right the first time because it sucked re-recording something. Upload the video and pray to God people watched it. All right. So for those of you that have been here for a couple of years, these videos that I made were ridiculous. Like, this is like, I should have been TikTok famous because we used to have this thing called Dub Smash where you lip sync songs and you could do dances and all kinds of stuff to it. And like that, I went viral on Dub Smash, but because of Plexus. For instance, there's a Lady Gaga song, you know, I'm on the edge. And we came out with a product called Edge. And in my mind, I don't learn about the incredible ingredients of Edge. I'm like, there's a Lady Gaga song. I need to make a Plexus video. And I just started being myself because music makes me happy. And I was just talking about that. Some of you are laughing because you're like, oh my gosh, I remember this. And I would just make silly videos. Here's the thing though. If you're not funny, don't try to be funny. All right. If you're not the nerdy smart person, don't be blasting people with ingredients and sciencey stuff all the time. People see right through that. they know. If you are just a tired mom that found something that makes you feel better, be the tired mom that found something that made you feel better. I love that with Plexus, it's not like it's just for certain people. It's literally for everyone. And all of us have such really cool, complex stories, and we can all tell them in different ways. And there's not one diamond with the same story. Not one. If you watch our Diamond Docs, you will see that. And you're just like, and you learn like fun facts about people, and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't know that about their story. Like, you guys probably didn't know that about my health story. Okay. So I'm giving you this little tidbit of learning how to tell your story in a new and different way every day, whether it's through video, through music, through jokes. You know, if you like to deflect and get through the hard stuff with humor, tell me a funny story about not going to the bathroom. Because there are so many people on this planet that apparently don't poop every day. And I did not know that until Plexus. Seriously. And as a mom now, I talk about poop every single day with my children. And so now, like, people are like, okay, I'm on my first week of Plexus and I need to like tell you some updates. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And they're like, well, I was in the bathroom. I'm like, did you have diarrhea? And they're like, clutch my pearls. Like, what did you just say? And I'm like, it's all right. It's normal. You detoxing. Next. Like, I'm just like, I'm here to help you. So like, you either want to go through the thing and feel better, or it ain't for you. And that's just what I tell people now. So I think my second tip here would be taking the emotion out of the sale and out of the enroll. The emotion will come later as they rank up and discover their why and their story, and you build a relationship. But most of us don't have relationships with these people, right? We have a follow-up game, and it's super strong, and they're joining our team because we are all over them and engaging with their stuff and liking all their pictures, and they're like, oh my God, this girl's a psycho. And they join you. And you're like, hi, it's me, the psycho. How you doing? Are you pooping? And then you start asking them weird questions, and they're like, it gets worse, right? Like, she's literally crazy. And from that moment on, you have become best friends. They become a gold ambassador on your team, and you are like standing in their wedding and holding their first child. It's just kind of how this Plexus thing works out. So if you're not a people person, I don't know if this is going to be for you. However, you can know people persons that like people, like Lauren, right? I'm sure, who is her upline, like direct upline? Kendall? Natasha? Okay. So, never mind. Natasha like knew Lauren was amazing, but like some people don't know that you have the abilities or these skills, or like, you know, everyone's a rock star. How many times do I tell you, oh my God, I got this girl on my team and she's going to be my next rock star? My husband's like, because I do. Like, you think the people that are going to kill it, they freak out, right? They panic and they're like, this ain't for me. I can't be like you. And I'm like, well, I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be like you. But they don't understand that. They feel pressure or doubt. And then you have someone that you least expected to even make a post at all because they cuss you upside one down the other, and they're like, don't you tell anybody that I ordered from you. And you're like, heard. Okay. And then they go fast start gold. And you're like, I thought you were a firefighter full time, but okay, let's go, girl. Like, it's just crazy. But, and if I don't know if Lisa's on, but that's who I'm talking about. She's probably on and probably laughing so hard right now. But she's somebody that I just least expected to fast start. She actually fast started senior gold. So if you're on, Lisa, congratulations. But I want to talk about that. So you kind of see my personality. You kind of see how I kind of go all or nothing. I'm extremely loyal. If you follow the Enneagram personality test, I'm a 3 and a very, very hardcore 3. Like, literally these people that studied the personality and they upload these memes, and I'm just like, they're in my house. They know. How do they know? Like, how do they know everything about me? And so I encourage you to learn about your personality. You're not crazy. You're not a psycho. You're not emotional. Like, you have a certain personality. Things trigger you and you respond differently than other people. So I strongly suggest going online after this Zoom call and taking the personality test. It's the Enneagram personality test. And then for those of you on Instagram, which most of us are now, there are so many cool accounts about learning about the Enneagram and teaching you about yourself. But even more so, teaching you about other personalities, like those people you admire, and you're like, oh, I wish I could be more like that. Okay, go be friends with people like that. Go follow people like that on the Enneagram that are not you. For instance, if you are a 2, bless you, you are not my people. But my mom's a 2, so I've apparently learned to love 2s. But I don't understand it. I don't connect with that. I'm not a 3-wing 2. I'm a 3-wing 4 kind of thing. So like when I'm learning about twos and I'm like listening and I'm trying to understand them and like they just want to love people, like it reminds me of like the little girl on Despicable Me, and she gets the unicorn and she's like, it's so funny. That's how I feel about twos. Like y'all just love people so much and just want to love them to death, and they're like, I just wanted the ingredient label. You didn't have to tell me your whole life story. So it's really fun to get to know your team by knowing their Enneagram so that you can strengthen their skills, but you can also tell them like, hey, let's work on this. Like there's a problem here. And same for you. You can see what you're great at and like acknowledge that. It's okay to be great at something. You have permission to be great at something, okay? Don't play small in Plexus. Don't play small. Don't hold back. Like, don't post that. Don't post that I went gold. Like, wait till my team. Like, no. Post your wins. Share them. Talk about them. You made $700. You talk about what that $700 paid for. Diapers, bills, babies, marriages. I had a girl on my team. She was my customer for 6 months, y'all. 6 months. Happy customer. Do any of you have some happy customers? Like, I bet you money. Y'all know, y'all have, like, you're immediately thinking of someone right now. This girl was like a dream teamer. I'm like, God, if she would just upgrade her account, she would be diamond. Like, I just would like say stuff like this all the time. And for 6 months, she just kept ordering. Well, one snowy dark night on Facebook, not really, I live in Texas, there's just snow here. I posted a status that said, who has $39.95 and wants to be debt free? It's not compliant. Don't post it. Don't post that. But that's what I did because I was a rebel back in my prime. And she commented on that status. Have you ever posted something and the last person that you expected commented and you straight up go like deer in headlights, you stiffen up like those goats, you fall over, your husband's like picking you up off the floor, like, what's wrong with you? Like, what has happened? And you're like, my dream tamer. And you don't message them. You don't know what to do. What do I say? Or you go to your upline, what do I say? It's like the same thing we've been saying the whole time. Like, give her your link, like something, but we don't. We panic, immediately doubt every inability, everything that we are great at. We literally just like forget it all, right? I feel like for those of you that have children, it's kind of like when you have another baby and you're like, I forgot. I don't know how to do this anymore. It's kind of like that. Or those of you that are in college and you're starting a new college course and you're like back to school, like that butterfly feeling, and you're like, I'm going back to school, which right now is probably a terrible analogy for that, but you just feel super weird. So I'm here to tell you, there are people going to bed at night praying for what you offer every single day. I was one of those people. I just had to swallow my pride and get to that point. This girl, my happy customer, that was her swallowing her pride, commenting on my status. And when I finally messaged her, it took me like 2 hours because I was like so giddy and like hyperventilating. My husband was like, did you follow up? And I was like, oh, I forgot. So I messaged her and I said, oh my gosh, you wanna join Plexus? Like, seriously, so naive. And she said, I thought you didn't want me on your team. I've wanted to since day one. Because I never asked her. She was a happy customer. Like, why fix if it's not broken? Kind of like, that was my logic. This dang three is just how we think sometimes. But she wanted it. She was praying for it. She had a wedding to pay for. Sure enough, she is now Senior Ruby Ambassador. She paid for her entire wedding with her extra Plexus income. I get to be a part of that story. I want you to think about that for a second. What story have you been a part of because you had the courage to talk to someone boldly and proudly about what you do and what you use on a normal basis? If you are not sharing about the money you make and the products you take on social media, you are freaking selfish. Emily Roberts, quote that, put it on a t-shirt. You are selfish. Why in the world would you hold all that in and not tell the world about it? That's how I feel about Jesus too. Like, if I have Jesus in my heart, I'm gonna tell everybody about Jesus in my heart. Like, I'm not gonna hold that in. And same with ProBio 5. Like, there's people on this planet that don't poop every day. We have magic, literal magic. And so when I'm talking to people, I have to remember that, because I know they're gonna be skeptical. I was. How many of you were skeptical? Go ahead and tell me in the comments. How many of you were skeptical? And not just like, and some of you are like, no, I was ready from day one. But like, if you were mean, right? Or you were one of those awful people that said, which one should I do? It works for Plexus. And you posted that on your Facebook. Shame on you. But like, how skeptical were you? I was that person. I was so mean. And so I have to go back. I have to literally time travel back to 2014 and remember how hateful my heart was. It was so hardened and I was not ready. And so timing is everything. So for those of you that have been sharing and you're thinking to yourself right now, this girl is dumb because I've been sharing for 6 years and I can't get to silver. Timing is everything. And it may or may not be your countless Plexus pink drink selfies. That's got to stop. But it also could be timing, because there are people that have been watching you for 6 years, for 4 years, for 6 days, 6 hours that are like, what is she doing? When I re-entered, I hit my certain amount of points, which I'm going to talk about losing points in just a second. But when I re-entered, I was terrified. Natasha, I don't know if you were terrified, but I was terrified. I'm like, I'm about to do this again. What am I thinking? What am I freaking thinking? And I'm like, because I know the conversations I have with my new silvers and senior silvers and golds. And like, sometimes you guys are just like terrified of success or terrified of rejection. And I immediately felt that all over again. And like, I kind of was triggered and I kind of went back to like my first no and not liking the way that felt. I want you to share in the comments. I want y'all to be incredibly vulnerable in this moment because other people are going to be reading. I want you to share in the comments the first time. I really want you to think about the first time you heard no, or maybe you got ghosted or blocked. And I want you to write one word that described the way you felt in the comments. And then leaders that are reading this, Kendall, Natasha, Lauren, whoever else, that's their Enneagram number, BT dub. BT dub. Because oh, y'all have so many twos. So many twos. Defeated, embarrassed, discouraged. Ooh, unworthy. Upset, pathetic. Like a failure. Lame. Mad. Emily, are you a 3? Impatient, humiliated. Maybe she's an 8. Ooh, mad. Humiliated. Okay. Y'all can keep them coming if you want, but leaders, I want you to know how your team is feeling when someone has told them no. I feel like this was a huge turning point for me as a leader in this business because I had to learn empathy. And as a 3 and as just a red personality, if you're familiar with the color scale, empathy was not it's not in my love language. It is not in my it's not a skill set. I had to grow this muscle. And it's hard because I come from a house of suck it up, buttercup. That's where I come from. And so when I'm like, oh, they said no, on to the next one. And like, I'm glad that Lauren said I'm bold because I do lots of trainings on this. And I tell people like, go for the no and count your no's. But I want you to feel these feelings. It's like, feel it, but don't stay there. Okay. One of the best advices I ever got in this business was quit for 24 hours and come right back. It's okay to feel the feelings and it's okay to jump off that emotional roller coaster. Like, you don't have to stay on that ride. Just so you know, you don't have to keep buying tickets and keep going back to that person that makes you feel some type of way in this business. But you also need to know that that discouragement, the humiliation or the loss or whatever that you felt, you just planted a seed and you just grew that fear muscle. That muscle's going to get bigger and bigger and you're going to flex it the more that you do it. And I learned that very quickly. My husband, Mr. Engineer Mind, I don't think that way. He's like, it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. It's a matter of how many people you talk to. I'm like, bro, I had 300 Facebook friends when I got started. I was kind of like not going to be successful on Facebook because I had a really shady past. And I was very mean about network marketing before. So I'm like, I have 328 no's. That's what I was looking at in my friends list. I'm like, you want me to make a list of what? You want me to do what with that list? Oh, hell no. Like, that's what I was thinking every day. Like, I ain't about that life. And then I'll have days where I wake up and I'm like, who's getting a message? Like, I'm like really excited and I want to message everyone and tell everyone about how amazing this is. Okay. So I want you to know, you're going to have days like that. And it's okay to feel those things. Just don't stay there. No's are normal. Can we make that a hashtag? Hashtag no's are normal. It's a part of this business. Same for your points going backwards and upwards and sideways and people canceling and then changing their mind. And that's normal too. People not commenting on your status your first couple weeks of this business or the first couple times you post. Very normal. Literally called my mom to like my posts. Literally. I bug her at work Hey, Mom, can you get on Facebook real quick? She was like, wow, what happened? I'm like, nothing. I just need a like. Ain't nobody liking my post, and it was so good. And I'm showing off my half-inch loss of whatever I posted. It was so ridiculous. And she would like it. My mom didn't even join my team until I went gold. She was my 20th person to help me go gold. But just little things like that. I want you to normalize it. And I think that's where my team has recently shifted. We've kind of broken apart the first post. We've kind of broken apart your first steps. We have a system in place that we follow, but we've like taken it apart because it's a puzzle, right? The getting to diamond is this puzzle when there's so many moving parts and moving pieces. And for us, it was, okay, so you're going to make a first post, but here's what you should expect. Just like you're going to take Pro Bio 5. Here's what you should expect. You might poop for the first time in like 3 weeks because a lot of people haven't, and then they're not used to it, and then they don't like it. And I'm like, you're like my 4-year-old. Just sit on the toilet. And so it's okay to just like create that and expect different situations. So that's what we did. For instance, someone would make a post, which I now, as a diamond, Natasha, this is so much fun to do. I lay in bed and I come up with like 2-liner posts, and I schedule them like every hour of the day in my team page with the hashtag first post. And I'm like, here's a first post idea. And it's like, for one of them is, you'll probably seen it because my team does it. It's a picture of someone holding their pink ring in front of a brick wall. And it just says good things are coming. I saw it on a t-shirt. It said good things are coming, good things are coming, good things are coming. And I made that the first post because their box is on the way. They don't have anything yet to share, maybe a sample, but that's their first post. And it creates curiosity. It's not scary. You're not claiming to the world that you've lost 55 pounds in your first 7 days. Like, it's nothing like that. It's just good things are coming because they're hopeful. They're doubtful, but they're also hopeful. Siri ain't nobody talking to me. They're doubtful, but they're also hopeful.
Yes.
Sorry, my watch is like, Big Brother's listening right now, so maybe you'll learn something. Anyways.
I can't do that for you.
Oh my God, this stupid watch. I'm so sorry. Okay, anyways. Let's talk about losing points, or if you've ever lost points, meaning you've ranked up and then the next month you were like 10 points shy, 20 points shy, 200 points shy. Put that in the comments and just say me. That's all you have to say is me. You don't tell me how many points or anything. Just say me, because I want people to know this happens in business. And I'm going to tell you a story. Once upon a time, I had 11 amazing leaders on my team. These were women that I did life with. I worked with them well before Plexus. I had held their newborn babies. Remember all those cute little things I was saying? I did all of those things with these women. And I was leading them to the best of my ability, but I put a little cap on my leadership. So I probably could have grown and expanded, worked on my empathy, those things, okay? They've been with me for 4.5 years. They made up over 2,000 of my points, these 11 leaders. They were anywhere from gold to senior ruby, all right? And by the way, I went to diamond without one jewel on my team. So just to give you an example of how wide I am, I have a lot of level 1s, a lot of golds. That's like my thing, is getting people to gold. Imagine all 11 of these women exiting my life, exiting Plexus within a 3-month time span, losing almost 2,000 points in 3 months. It was devastating. Imagine them going to one of the biggest competitors in your area. Imagine them putting your marriage and things that they knew about your past on social media. Imagine the worst gossip. That was my life in 2018. The same year that I brought a newborn baby into this world, actually the end of 2017, but she was 3 months old when this happened. And I had never felt more betrayed and more sad. Like, I was sad. Like, I don't think I had really experienced sadness like this in a long time, like since my grandpa died. He was like my dad. And so I was sad. And I was clueless. I'm like, how did we get here? Why do they hate me so much? Like, what have I done wrong? And I internalized their exit on myself. So obviously watching my points go from diamond to barely hanging on to emerald, in between emerald and sapphire, was terrifying, because We changed our whole entire lifestyle and life around this. Yes, my husband works, but like it was terrifying. We basically lost anywhere from $10,000 to $16,000 a paycheck in that 3-month time period. So that's a lot of money when you bring that in and then you're like, not there anymore. And that was a lot of friendships and a lot of heartache. And I would crawl up in a ball in our bed or in my closet. If my husband was home, I'd crawl up in our bed and I would sit in his lap and I would just weep and I would just cry. And that's not me. Obviously, y'all can tell I'm not much of a crier, but that's where I was at. And I knew that I had postpartum depression in the past, and I could feel myself just like going down this like dark path. And so I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I told my husband, I am done. I'm going to quit Plexus. I hate this. I don't ever want to go through this. I don't wish this on anybody. Why am I even in this business? Like, you know, the whole thing, like black eyeliner, all the things. And so I was angry and I had to shut up and let God talk back, because I was like praying and talking and talking and talking and talking. And he had a lot to say that I wasn't ready to listen to, and it had to break me. And that was the year that I did my first ever fast, like spiritual fast. We did a 10-day fast, probably one of the worst things we've ever done. It was probably the hardest thing we've ever done. But we got a lot done in our household, in our marriage, in our business, in our friendships that were present and godly. And God just kept saying, you need to speak up. You need to speak up. Like, I gave you a voice, you need to speak up. And I don't know if Jessica is on watching. She's a new emerald on our team, but she will tell me often, hey, your light's off. And I'm going to use this example real fast. So when you are on in your business and you are sharing all the things and posting stuff and people are coming to you and they're attracted to you and they're like, what is she doing? Or what is he doing? And he's killing it. And this light is shining on you, right? Or you give out that energy, right? Like you are just a walking, talking flashlight, right? What happens if I turn my light off? What happens if I sink back and I don't post and I don't talk to my team and I don't care and I hate Plexus and I tell others I hate Plexus? There's a difference, right? So Jessica started telling me, hey, Emily, your light's off. And she started, which is interesting that it just came from someone that I didn't really have a close relationship with, and now she's like one of my best friends. But she would just message me and be like, hey, I think you need to go live today. And I'm like, how did you know? And so I would put my face on. If you know what that means, it's a Southern term for putting makeup on. I put my face on. I love hats. So I would put my hat on, curl my hair, find some good lighting, which Plexus sent me this really cool light, so now I have good lighting. But I used to stand in my windowsill and like balance my phone on the ledge, and I would just pray, and I'd be like, okay, I'm pressing the live button, Lord, like, tell me what you want me to say, because I haven't done a live in like 4 years, and I'm gaining 30 pounds, and I need some help. And so I would just go live. And some of those lives have introduced me to you guys, which I've gotten to meet over the years, and of course my team members, because vulnerability is the number one thing that separates you from everyone else in this entire industry. No one knows what happens in your heart and in your head. No one really knows what happens in your back office except for your uplines. But the relationship that you have with yourself is what connects people to you, and they can see that. If you are negative and you talk negatively about others and yourself, you're going to attract other negative people. If you are positive and you're just a ray of sunshine, you're walking, talking flashlight, people are going to come to you. We are drawn to light, right? How many people before Plexus, you were walking down a dark tunnel and Natasha had the flashlight at the end of it, like, I'm right here, right? And you're like, I need to join her. She has a flashlight. It's so dark where I'm at. That's how I envision Plexus, right? That's just how I envision it now. Like, I was so dark and dreary, and now I'm walking around with this halo light or whatever it's called. But losing points was one of the most humbling things that ever needed to happen to me. So if you're a gold ambassador, you've lost 5 points, or if you're a jewel or sapphire ambassador, you've lost 3,000 points. I want you to know that you can rebuild, and that there is no setback bigger than a comeback, ever, ever, ever. You guys, this time last year, I was a sapphire ambassador. I was a holding sapphire rank as a diamond ambassador. And last month, I flew past 6,300 points. And that is something that I used to cry about. Remember, I used to climb in my husband's lap. I'm like, it's going to be like this forever. Am I always just going to have sapphire points as this fake diamond. Like, that's what I felt like. Have you ever been sold fake diamonds in a jewelry store or anything like that before? Like, ew. That's how I felt running my business, like this fraud. And so I just started talking about it. I started talking about losing rank and losing points and making my comeback and building new relationships and giving people time that deserved my time. So I want you to think about those things. And I want you to remember that this business is so complex. Like, there's so many not missing parts, but moving parts. But we can choose what we let in. We can choose the people that we enroll. Like, well, sometimes they just take your link and enroll, but most of the time we can. So don't let losing a rank ever define you. That just tells Tarl and Alec how to pay you. That is not you. Those words that y'all posted earlier about being defeated and lame and discouraged, that is not you. That was a temporary feeling in a temporary moment of rejection that did not last forever. If our toddlers can hear the word no 24 hours a day, I think we're going to live, because they are doing just fine waking up at 5 a.m. ready to go. So I feel like if we just learn to, pull a little Jay-Z and dust it off every now and then, we're all going to be diamonds and double diamonds. Like Brooke Hemingway said at convention 2 years ago, she's going to see double diamonds popping up everywhere like popcorn. And that's because we have a comp plan that is unmatchable, and we have products that help people poop every day. Come on, y'all. We're all going to be diamond. And I just needed you guys to know that I wasn't a diamond for a long time. Like, I have to tell everyone that when I do these little Zoom calls, because I'm like, yeah, you don't even know. Like, the day that I saw 4,500 again was, like, for the first time was what, March? The beginning of the worldwide pandemic. I hit diamond again for the first time. And then the next month re-entered. Like, what? That should tell you right there that we have what people need. Like, I am living freaking proof that you can make a comeback, you can re-enter, and not even that, it wasn't just me. Like, don't think like it's my team. God, they're remarkable. And I know your leaders feel that way about you guys too, because they're just so cool. Like, they are sometimes dealt the weirdest deck of cards. Like, don't ever go to their casino, because you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. But then they turn it into sunshine or something crazy, and then they share it, and then people like feel it, and I love it so much. So let me tell you about them real fast. Something that my team is doing, I mentioned our system. Y'all tell me when to shut up. But I mentioned the system that we were doing. I told you my thing used to be getting everyone to gold. So that is still kind of my thing, but ultimately, now that we have the senior silver incentive promo, fake rank, whatever it is, I am here for that. And this is what I explained to my team the other day, that 30 senior silvers get you to emerald. I'm going to say that one more time. 30 senior silvers get you to emerald. I'm going to say it one more time, because I don't think you guys are like, I feel like Kirk Franklin. 30 senior silvers get you to emerald. OMG, are y'all not freaking out right now? If you don't know what senior silver is, which Tiffany, oh my God, I'm going to eat your baby. That was the cutest baby I ever did see. If you just, Scotty's like, that's illegal. Why would you say that? Okay, I won't eat. Oh, anyways, I digress. Senior silver is 10 people, right? 10 actively ordering 100 PV people, which gets you 50 pay points, all right? Most of you know this. Like, shake your head if you know. If not, go watch comp plan video. Get on this. However, 30 of these get you to emerald. Like, I don't know where I swear the Lord's just like, hey, by the way, and I'm like, oh, it's on my team, because it's like breathtaking, because if you dumb it down, so to speak, and break it down into bite-sized pieces, gosh, doesn't it feel more attainable? So that's what I started doing for my team. Like, yeah, we had systems in place. We were posting the first post, having the launch events, posting on Instagram, following new people in Mexico and Australia and Canada and New Zealand. But more importantly, we were developing senior silvers. And for those people on my team that have been on my team for 4 or 5 years, for those of you that have been here for 4 or 5, 6 years, and you feel like you've been silver for the length of your marriage, senior silver showed up. And you're like, oh, I can do that, right? You kind of give you like that little butterfly feeling again, that little inkling of hope. And so that's what we started focusing on. And with the little bite-sized pieces, we would say things like, okay, if you can't handle 30 senior silvers, what about getting 15 people to gold? 15 level ones. We all know 15 people that could use an extra $1,000 a month. All of us do. All of us. And so that's what I started doing Facebook Lives on in my team page. Or if we meet every Thursday for our Zoom. So I'd get on every Thursday and I'm like, hey, reminder, if you don't like, sometimes you wake up and you're like, I got to go to work, or I got to, feed my kids, stuff like that. But like, what am I supposed to do in my business today? Like, I already posted on Instagram, I already made my selfie for the day. Like, what do I do? You get 15 people to gold. It keeps you working. It creates massive momentum when you have attainable rank ups that matter. And when you teach your people to get their people to gold, guess what? They teach their people to get to gold and their people to get to gold. You do launch event with that level one, they turn around and get 3 people from that launch event. Hey, let's do a launch event for you 3. They go in and do it. And then their friends go in and do it, and so on and so forth. I mean, y'all, I have so many groups on Facebook right now from creating launch events. I don't know how Mark Zuckerberg himself has not called me and he's like, girl, what are y'all doing? Because I literally have so many, but I'm so excited because it's just showing duplication. And it's showing that these new people are excited to host a launch event. And what I mean by that, for those that may not know, it's just a one-night event where I take the products that this new ambassador has ordered. We talk about that. We do some giveaways. They usually share their story by typing it up or going live. And we wrap it up with a giveaway. If there is a current company promo going on, we'll just do that as the final giveaway. Like, hey, you get a membership for $10, $30 off. And that's the giveaway. But it has rocked our world. And for those that are watching, that are on my team, you haven't had a launch event yet, you missing out. But for those that are on y'all's team, if it's new territory for you, they're super fun. And it doesn't have to be a lot of work if one of your leaders has like a Post My Party account, or you have learned how to quickly schedule stuff on Facebook in a group. Launch events can be very, very easily duplicated. Lastly, the last thing that we've done recently to just increase momentum and just to really get like tight knit with people is we created rank up chats. Now, at first I was not a fan of this because nobody likes to be put in a group chat that's like ding, 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 ding all night long, right? You're just like, oh. So what I did was mute the chats for one, but 2, I created a chat for ranking up to senior silver and gold. That was one chat. Ranking up to senior gold, ranking up to ruby, ranking up to senior ruby, and then I have my gem and jewels chat. And what we started doing was, points equal packs, right? So we started just doing the math. And Brooke Hemingway has a better video on this, that where she takes like a piece of paper and she writes like you, and here's like your 7 runners, that the people that are trying to build teams, that's what we call on our team as runners. And you break down how many points they have or how many people they have and so on and so forth. I think I have this video on YouTube too, if y'all want it. But anyways, we just kind of started doing the math for them. Kind of like the 30 senior silvers get you to emerald kind of thing. And so for some people it clicks right away and they get it and they're like, I'm going to be emerald in December. And you're like, yes, you are. And it's like the best conversation. And then the rest of them leave the chat and you're like, bye, Felicia, you ain't invited to this party. And so it's a rank up party and a chat, and it's so fun. And every day they share income producing activities. They cheer each other on. They're like, I'm 15 away, 18 away, 11 away. And then next thing you know, you're point stocking because they're waiting on it to update. And it is so fun. And so that's just something that we did. And sometimes the chats are crickets, which I'm okay with because usually it means they're working. And sometimes they ding, 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 ding all night, and I get to come back and I get to see like all these shout outs and really cool questions and conversations. But they're strict, they're not customer service chats. That's like a big rule for me. Like we have an amazing help center and customer service team. I don't care if it's a 2-hour wait. Go look for it in a help center. Like, this ain't a customer service chat. I want to see you add 3 people before you ask a question. That's just kind of how I feel some days, because you can get lost in the question game, recipe game, and we have groups for that, right? Like Taylor Swift, we have a group for that. But yeah, those are some things that we've been doing for our team. Simplifying it through math, launch events, those momentum rank up chats, and meeting every Thursday, and just we share wins and affirmations at the end of our Thursday Zoom. So just like y'all have this Zoom, I would log off, and you guys as a team, like Natasha, Lauren, Kendall, one of y'all would unmute and say, I'm going to pick on 6 people tonight. I want you to share a win. they have to tell you something positive that happened in their life or business. They have to, like you unmute them until they talk. And they share, which sometimes their win, and if they're too terrified, you can like put it out there. I can see one of my girls watching and she's like, oh my God, so true. Emily totally calls me out. But they share wins, and then we share our affirmations. They have homework. It's not really business related. I mean, it kind of is. It's more mindset related, but they're given 2 example affirmations. Like, I think last week it was, I can do hard things in Jesus' name, because we're having a rough week. And then the other one, I got all my affirmations out of the Traveler's Gift, the Plexus Book of the Month from 2 months ago. And every chapter, there's a bunch of affirmations. And so I would pull 3 or 4 from there, and then they had to write their own. Like, I'm a good mom. I fold laundry like a boss. Like, whatever your affirmation is, say it and keep saying it and talk nicely to yourself. And so we'll share that. And then they are to go into the chat and create FOMO for the people that didn't get on Zoom and share all the cool things that we talked about. And it's been awesome. I've seen people come back that were literally, they had not done a thing in 3 years. And I just had a girl go senior silver in like a week. And I'm like, you have literally not done anything in 3 years. And she's like, I know, it's awesome. And I'm like, okay, but I just want y'all to know that, like, you can have done nothing in 3 years, be a little inspired on a Zoom. That's great. But do the work, like get into action, because it kills your doubt. It kills that fear. Will Smith has this great video about hesitation. A lot of people think they're doubtful or they're fearful, but really it's hesitation. Because think about jumping into a pool, right? We just built a pool. My kids have been learning how to swim, and you get to the edge, right? And you hesitate and you're like, oh, I'm not ready to jump in. That's how it feels and physically looks when you guys don't make your first post. When you guys don't send out that reach out message, you don't participate in the IPA challenge, and we're literally giving you the sample message in the post, and you don't participate, that's you on the side of my pool hesitating to jump in. That's what it looks like. If you needed that analogy in your brain, imagine going to the pool and you're in the blazing hot desert, right? Our world is a blazing hot desert, feeling these health issues, this blazing hot desert, not pooping every day, blazing hot desert. Money issues, blazing hot desert, and that cool, refreshing pool is right there, and you're running, and you get there, and you get to the edge, and you're like, I don't want to jump in yet. That's what you look like. Jump in, put a toe in, sit on the side, I don't know, but do the work. Learn how to tread water, grab a floaty, aka your upline. They're great floating devices. They will teach you a lot of great things. And sometimes if you don't relate to them, like maybe some of you are like, I really like this girl. That's great. Do what I'm doing. I really like how Kendall posted that. Great. Do what she's doing. I really like how Jade worded that status. Do what Jade's doing. I really liked how Kevin posted that. Okay, do what Kevin's doing. But just do it. Don't sit on it. Don't hesitate. Do the work. The only difference between me being a diamond and you being in whatever position you are in is the work that's been done and the no's that I've heard. Point blank, the only difference. You can grow things that you're great at. Like if you are really great at teaching and like telling people, like teach them. If you are really great at being witty and clever with your words, be witty and clever with your words. If you are really, really smart, teach your people about gut health and ingredients. But if you're not one of those things, it can be improved and worked on, but spend more time strengthening the thing that you are better at, because that's where confidence is born. That's where my confidence comes from. There are still days I can get like 500 likes on something and I'll go back and reread it like 100 times. I don't know if you guys do this, or like tonight, this is recording, you'll post it and I'll go rewatch it like 8 times and like criticize everything I said like a weirdo. There are still days that I do that because we're human. But I also want you to like how you're sharing your wins and you're affirming these great things. Like look back. Actually, that's your challenge. I'm going to challenge your team tonight. Make a post in your team page, please, and post this and say, post what Emily told you to write down right here. Just everyone drop it in the comments. But like something Preston Pugmire, he's mindset coach, taught me to do was give myself 3 minutes. So you'll set a timer on your watch, on your phone, whatever, 3 minutes. And you write down every achievement ever, every bonus ever, every prize ever, every shout out, anything positive that's ever happened in your Plexus business. You have 3 minutes to write it down. You guys, I was 38 seconds in. I looked at my timer and I was sobbing because I did not have an attitude of gratitude for my business. I took myself for granted and the things that I'm really great at, because sometimes we are really funny or we're really smart or really good looking or whatever, and we don't give ourselves enough credit, and we talk so poorly about our business and ourselves, or, oh, I should have been gold 5 years ago. Like, we're so ugly, but instead we have this paper, 3 minutes worth of wins and successes that we can celebrate. So that's your team's homework tonight, is to set a timer with y'all. I can get off this Zoom and y'all can set a timer, and as a team for 3 minutes, write down all the great things that y'all have done, and then talk about it. Talk about your wins, guys. We have so much crap on Facebook right now. Tell me something good. Tell me something good. Like, tell me something positive, because I'm sick of all the other things. And that's about all I have for you guys. But wellness events, breaking it down by numbers, being yourself, and just doing the work, and that will get you where you want to go in this business. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you. So good. We are all like, ah! I know Tasha, Lauren, and I've been sending messages like to each other like, this is so good. We're taking notes.